Hey, good morning. Welcome back. It's late for me. It's actually Tuesday, and my Wi-Fi still is garbage. So I even opened the cabinet, adjusted the antennas. I know. I need the mesh network thing that people keep talking about. We've got Card Fellas in the house. Good morning. Terry, good morning. It is Tuesday. Whew, whew. It's been a long weekend. A long weekend plus because Um, what I don't like about going to Wrigley is it takes planes, trains, and I guess it doesn't take planes. It takes trains and automobiles to get. It's not easy. It's not easy. So my trip alone, just my trip alone. Scott, good morning. David, good morning. Ed, what is up? Uh, turns its lonely eyes to you. Um, so just to so my travels, I could drive. I mean, yeah, it's only 2.5 probably to the city, downtown, 2.5, 2:45. So yeah, it's not a bad drive, but you get down to the city, it's not fun for country like me. And the parking, oh my gosh, the parking. It's easier and it's not easier. So I drove an hour. It's about an hour and 20 minutes to Harvard, Illinois. And once I hit Harvard, I jump on the Metra, and that's pretty easy. You just drive down to Harvard, jump on the Metra, and I think it's about a 2-hour train ride. And that takes me down to Ogilvy. Now I got to get to the hotel. My friend Dave, we shared a room. He actually his train came in from Macomb, Illinois. Only about 15 minutes after my train arrived, I guess is a better term. So I just walked down to Union Station from Ogilvy, and then it's like, well, you want to grab a cab over to the hotel? It's like a 30-minute walk, but we had a little time, so we walked, which was good. Get a little exercise in, about a 30-minute walk, because I think we were in the South Loop. I'm not familiar with neighborhoods in Chicago. I know Wrigleyville and Lincoln Park, downtown, and that's about it. I guess Lakeview, but that's about it. Everything else, like the downtown area, it's like what's South? I don't know what South Loop is. I need points. So from there, we we couldn't check in. It was still too early, so we just dropped our bags off, and then we hopped on the L, which I hate the L on game day. My God, oh, I hate the L on game day. It's not so bad on non-game days or like early or late. Well, I guess late can be sketchy at times, but we hopped on the L and took the red line to Addison. Boom, we were there, and went to my favorite pregame, my new favorite pregame spot. I used to have a routine, so that I always ask for those that are regulars, semi-regulars, going to games. You know, there's like a routine to it. You don't just go to the game. And I've said this before, and it may be a little controversial to baseball heads, that when I actually do the game, it's more about the social aspect than anything else. It's not about baseball if I'm at the stadium, which kind of sounds backwards. When I really want to watch a baseball game, I'd rather watch it on TV, much like football. Like I have zero interest in going to a NFL game. I've only been to 2, maybe 3 NFL games, and I'm not interested. Plus football is in the cold weather months. So it's all about the experience, and so my pregame used to be sluggers, but not like everybody's like, oh, do you go to the batting cages? I'm like, no, I don't go to the batting cages because it's like everybody goes to the batting cages at sluggers, and it's packed, and you can't get a drink, and it's just I like the bat part. I had a friend who worked in college. She went to school can't remember, DePaul maybe. I can't remember which school she went to, Northwestern or DePaul. And she worked at Sluggers. So me and my, high school friends, we'd go to a game and she'd hook us up. She worked at the back bar. That's when I discovered the back bar 20 years ago. And every time we went, there's like hardly anybody back there. But if you go the front, like you walk into Sluggers and it's like shoulder to shoulder, you've got to zig and zag just to get from point A to point B. It takes forever to get a drink because there's just massive amounts of people. Same upstairs where the batting cages are. Everybody wants to go to the batting cages. You go into the back bar. And it's like, is this even Sluggers anymore? It's like empty in here. And it's quiet. And there's Papa Shot. And that's the reason that I love the back bar. They've got Papa Shot. There's nobody back there. You can basically just walk up to the bar and get a drink. Like, boom, drink in hand. Love it. My friend Scott turned me on to Yaxie's last year. And now it's kind of my, I'd rather go eat there than go into the stadium. And especially when I'm in the bleachers, because when I'm in the bleachers, I typically just walk around. I don't sit in the bleachers. So it's hard to eat and walk and stand. So I like eating before a game now. And Yaxie's has awesome wings. So we did Yaxie's before the game on Saturday. Who is in the chat? I know my internet sucks today. Victor, good morning. Jenny, good morning. Hobby Universe, going to be a full show today. Patrick Wisdom was an interesting storyteller from your vlog. Patrick is awesome. He came up. We were hoping some other players might come up after the game, but Patrick came up. And what's awesome about some of these guys like Patrick Wisdom, they do this just to do it. Like many players are like, oh, you're going to have to pay a public appearance fee. And Patrick Wisdom doesn't charge. And yeah, it's easy to just walk across the street, but a lot of, money talks these days. So to get a current player, and he said, he did say his finger, of course, I think he's got to say, I think he's like trained. They're trained to say that. Just say you're fine. So he did that, like, just because I know it's Club 400. It's a good, fundraiser charity. So he's awesome. He's just a great guy. And his mom and dad were there. His wife and 2 little kids were there. So it was really cool to have Patrick. Shared some stories. My phone ran out of space. So I only got like 12 minutes of video. But that is, I did upload that this weekend. So you can check out the first 12 minutes of Patrick Wisdom sharing some stories. Brian, good morning. Barry, what is up? Cooter, good morning. Zach and Porter in the house. Dan says, I'm all pixelated. Damn it, Dan. Matt, good morning to you. Football equals cold weather coming. I know. That's what cold weather, that's what football season means. And that's why, I love football. I'm excited. Like, I'm actually looking at the schedule to see if there are any preseason games. I'm excited. This Saturday, we're only 4 days away from college football season. We've got Bowman U behind me. I want to do a big break on that. So very exciting. Although I'm not excited about the cold weather. I noticed last night it was 7:54. Isn't it weird how sometimes you look at the clock, like something triggers, there's a trigger, and you look at the clock and you wake up in the middle of the night from a bad dream and it's like, what time did you get up? 3:17. Like, the exact time, because that digital time is just like it just meshed into your head. So 7:54 last night, I noticed, I'm like, man, it's getting kind of dark. Like, it's not light anymore. What time is it? 7:54? Days are getting shorter. Weather's getting colder. It was actually this weekend was very, yeah. So the week, So it's gonna be nice and comfortable. It's a little windy and cloudy and rainy on Saturday, which was kind of a benefit to us because if it's a Saturday game, if it's sunny and 85 at Wrigley Field, it's going to be packed, regardless of record. The Cubs they've won quite a few games. I think they've won 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6. But they're still like 15 games under 500. But still, even 15, 20 games under 500, the stands are going to be packed. Because dumbs like me will still go pay $100 for a bleacher ticket to watch a 20 game below 500 team. That's what being a fan is, I guess. So since it was rainy, not a lot of people, not a lot, but capacity didn't show up to the game. And so there were some open seats. And usually when I go to a game to, sit in the bleachers, I just meander around. There's no seats available, but we were able to, friends of ours, you may know them, Bleacher Jeff and Danny Rocket. They're stalwarts down in that left field, like right along the wall. And Ian Happ is a big Bleacher Jeff fan. Even mentioned him, I think, in the pregame, was talking about Bleacher Jeff. And then Patrick Wisdom actually came over and he's like, "What are you talking about, Bleacher Jeff?" And hey, he was in that band. You were over at the rooftop yesterday with him. And so Bleacher Jeff and Danny Rocket, they were down there. So there was like 2 seats open right behind them. It's like, this never happens on a Saturday at Wrigley Field to have seats in the second or third row open in the second inning, first inning, second inning at the beginning of the game. I looked after about 10, 20 minutes, we were sitting in those. I looked behind me. Now, remember, I come from a town of like 800 people. So when I see people from my town anywhere other than my hometown, exception being like the Quad Cities, because they have to go to the mall, or Geneseo or Kewanee, because that's where the Walmarts are. Outside of that, if you see somebody from Anawan, Illinois, it's like, "Whoa, Anawan, oh my God, I can't believe I saw you here," because it's like, in the grand scheme of wherever you're at, 800 is very, very tiny. I look behind me, and there's parents of a couple guys that I went to school with, and actually, really distant cousins. But I turn around, I'm like, "Oh my God," and talk to them for a little while. So it's like, it's small world. I love Wrigley. I just love Wrigley. And it's a reminder that I need to, I've had my fill of Wrigley because I went last week, or whatever, the weekend prior. I went to the Friday game, which there's nothing like a Friday 120 game at Wrigley Field during the summer. That's my favorite. They even have shirts, obvious shirts. I went into the obvious shirt store, and we actually parked, when I went 2 weeks ago, we parked nearby the obvious shirt store. I'm like, "Oh, it's the obvious shirt store. We got to pop in and I'm hungry. Let's go eat." And then after the game, it's like, "I've had too many beers. Let's just get out of here." So we went to the obvious shirt store on Friday because the game was delayed 40 minutes from the 120 start Saturday to 2:00. So we were at Yaxie's. We had our wings. And it's like, well, it's only 1:30. Let's go down to the obvious store. So went in there. This is what I love. Went in there. There's only 6, 8 people of ours that are part of Club 400. Ran into John and Megan. So it's like, I love the whole mystique and people you meet and people that you run into. So I was gonna get a couple shirts, but it's like, I don't want to carry this around. So I do need to there, and I'm looking, and I never have Christmas gift ideas for anybody, because by the time Christmas rolls around, it's the end of November, beginning of December, and I get asked, "Yeah, what do you want for Christmas?" I don't care, because I've been like hibernating for a couple months because it's cold and I don't get out. But in the summer months, I get out, and I finally on Sunday we had stopped at a few stores, and it's like there's a store called Baseballism. They've got some really cool shirts and just little like wallets and apparel, I guess. It's like, this is cool. So I took some photos and I texted my wife and I said, "Here, look at me. It's August and I'm sending you Christmas gift ideas, because usually it's the week before Christmas. I don't know what I want. Just give me an eBay gift card." And my wife hates eBay giving gift cards. I think it's like a guy thing. Like, just get a gift card. Get them what they want. Max, what is up? Go to a Mallards game. That's a circus. Yeah. Mallards games are circuses. I do agree. There's a fine line. I love Wrigley and the atmosphere, but it's not a circus-like atmosphere. I mean, some people may think it's a circus atmosphere, but it's not, at least in my opinion. Mallards games are like a typical minor league game, but kind of like on steroids, because a minor league game is still, there's a lot of like other stuff going on, but a Mallards game, it's like you walk in, and it is. And Max is talking about the Madison Mallards. They're a collegiate summer league team. Pete Alonso played here back in, what year was that? 2014. Nico Horner was a Madison Mallard. They play in is it the Northwoods League? So yes, it is a very circus-like atmosphere. We were actually talking about circus-like atmospheres. We were talking about the Savannah Bananas, and they go viral, and that is a certified circus. I'm not a fan of the Savannah Bananas. Like, is it cool? But apparently, and I didn't know this, they have like two different squads. They have like a legit squad, and then they have like basically the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball squad. So I felt a little better about it, because it's like, if this is like an actual like league game shenanigans, that's silly. And I don't like that. But if that's what it is, Harlem, one team, this game is going to be the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, I'm all for that. But the guy who runs it actually does have some great ideas. And I follow him on LinkedIn, and he's a out of this world promoter. So he does have some great ideas. It is entertaining, but it's a circus. Here I am saying I go to baseball games, not for the baseball, but for the atmosphere. But hey, you, Dan, you as well. Let's see. Jenny says, heard you got some big news on your show that you didn't go live on last night. Herman says, no computer. That is no good. Jenny says, going to be a completely rebuilt computer. Now we need to get Bo on board with that. I do. I am yesterday, and I had a shipping. Although I didn't have as much as I had hoped for. So my wife's like, "So how many packages do you have to ship?" And I'm like, "Well, not as many as I would like." Which means the sales weren't voluminous as I would have expected. So I came home to 100. I was completely caught up on Friday night. So overnight Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and half the day Monday, I only had 166 items to ship, which is low. It did pick up. I haven't looked at my numbers this morning, but I did make some sales last night, and hopefully, but I looked back and I looked at the numbers for the weekend, and they were much lower than normal. So it seems like that's And I know I looked back at the numbers before and it's like, well, on, Saturdays are typically low anyway, but then I had like a couple weeks of really good Saturdays. And so it's like now every week, every Saturday should be like this. And that wasn't the case. So computer. So I came home and I turned on the computer. It's just like it'd gone through an update, but then it was like freezing and just slow. And it's like, what in the hell is going on? Which was a reminder that maybe I should buy a new computer sooner than later. Dave, what's up? Great to have you here again. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Let's see. Jenny says, are you going to break that Bowman U live? And this Saturday is the Madison Card Show. 9 minutes in and no mention. So yes, this Saturday, August 26th, Madison Card Show at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. admission, 125 tables. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't think I'm going to set up. Talked to my friend Scott, who had mentioned maybe he'll come up. He cannot make it. I don't think my mom can come up. And then the more I thought, it's like it's just really difficult for me to have a setup and run the show in its current format. So so we'll see. So if it was all like when I have it all in one room, but then it's only 80 tables as opposed to 125, it's much easier for me. But I'd rather have a 125 table show because there's a demand for it from both a customer aspect and a dealer standpoint. So that's the battle. So I'll just stick. There's actually a show where my Illinois friend's at. My friend Dave that I was with this weekend, he's setting up in Peoria, and I think it's early November. I think it's the first weekend in November in Peoria. Shout out Peoria. Is Tom listening? I don't know. But I may set up in Peoria in November. It's a Sunday show. I think it's the first weekend in November. So that would be I've set up at the show, but it was back in, I think it was 2014 when I last set up at the Peoria show on the riverfront. I think it's still there. So I'm thinking about going down there for a Sunday show. Let's see. So this Saturday, the Madison Card Show. And that's also the kickoff to college football. So that night, I know it's some crappy games, but I'm itching to rip. In fact, last night, as I'm waiting for my computer to start up, it's like, what am I going to do while I wait for my computer? I want to rip something, but I didn't. I held off because I did rip up. Wanted to have 50 for opening day of college football, and I think I am over the 50. I have to count. I'll open a box here. So I think I was down to 48 boxes. I bought 5, so that's 53, and I think I've opened 1 or 2. So I think I'm at 50 or 51 sealed Bowman U football blasters. I did sell that Kenny Pickett refractor for $20 because I did send a couple offers of like $17.50, and then over the weekend it sold for $20, which was the price I had on it. So right there, after fees and shipping, it's going to take that price point down a little bit, but that's a large percentage of the $20 price tag on the blaster. Let's see. Jenny says no more post 8:30 p.m. sunsets until May 2nd. Oh man, don't say that. John says, let's see the new sweatshirt. Oh, this is the old Korean cardboard. It's Hoodie Tuesday because I'm going to be basically hunkered down in the basement, shipping, and then hopefully listing. I'd like to get to 17,000 listings today. So, between shipping and throwing some items in Card Dealer Pro, which, man, I really am loving it. Added some more on Friday after the show. So we'll see. But a lot of shipping. I have some, this is card show week. So I've got a lot, like I'm kind of distracted with that. Just making sure I have all of the stuff that I need for the show on Saturday. sign it and just making sure, following up with signed up dealers. I think I have a couple tables still open, trying to fill those last few spots. So just all of that, and then putting the puzzle together, putting the pieces in of, okay, these are the spots, filling out the notes to the name tags for the tables, making sure the tables are the correct layout is there. So a lot of preparation. So John says tall grass blocking the Wi-Fi signal. By the way, tall grass, I came home and guess what? Frank mowed again. And it's he should have in the backyard, and it's like, nope, cut it too short, Frank. So I probably won't need to mow again until today's Tuesday, maybe Thursday or Friday. And then it all depends on card show stuff. So we'll see. Terry says picked up a couple more Bowman from Barnes and Noble this weekend. Saved a few bucks with my Barnes membership. Oh, I forgot about that. I just used my wife's. I should probably sign up for that. We have cards here at Barnes and Noble, but I've never there's just really like Bowman U. It looks like I'm just always scavenging for Bowman U, but it's basically if I find it in the wild, but then it's like I'm going to buy 5 more because I can't find it in the wild, but they're still online. And it's like, if once they dry up, they dry up. And then all of a sudden it's going to be, damn, these were only $20 a blaster. Why did I pass? That's at least my hope. Speaking of Bowman though, and Bowman is one of those products where when I see it in stores, like when at least in April or May, whenever it is, baseball wise, I always want to it's like, I know I'm going to want to rip more of this, like by the end of the year, but I end up filling my, buy how many ever blasters. And then it's like, I should buy some just to set on the side. But when it comes to Bowman baseball, it's very hard for me to not rip. Although I'm doing a good job. I still have multiple mega boxes from last year. I still have, I think, 6 mega boxes from this year. So I've become patient with Bowman, and obviously 50 blast Bowman U. But in the past, I should have bought $20 blasters. Now they're a little more than now they're, I think, 30. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about with Bowman U. It's like once they dry up, once there's no restocks, it's not like they stock them up. And I'm thinking that's because one of the big retailers like Blowout buys them out, the distributor like XL or MJ. And so that's why there's not like 3rd or 4th restocks, because Blowout will buy them all. And it's what's happening in that on sale discount bins. But from Wrigley, and we walked into Lids, and there's a sign on the front door, Topps hobby boxes now sold here. It's like, oh, I'm intrigued. So there, it was basically just kind of like a kiosk in the middle. And what I mean by kiosk, I tweeted a picture of it. It's just one of those like standalone shelving units in the middle, that you see at retail stores. And it had a Panini included. There were Panini boxes, blaster boxes, mostly blaster boxes, but there were a couple Bowman or a couple hobby boxes. I didn't really look too close. I assumed they were just going to be outrageously priced, so I didn't even look at price tags. But I did look at one price tag. There was one lonely Bowman baseball hobby box on the bottom shelf, and that piqued my curiosity. Picked it up, and I'm like, before I picked it up, I'm in my what the sticker price is going to be. They sell online for about 30. I wish about $300. I think blowout's around 280. So that's going to be basically whatever you sell. All other retailers are going to be probably within $5 to $10 of that price point. So blowout, I think you're talking about $300 for a hobby box, 275 to 300. So I'm thinking, okay, we're at a retail store. This is going to be 350 to 400. And I wouldn't be shy. It's Chicago. It's Wrigley Field. This has got to be $400. That was my thought process, because if it's a lid store in Moline, Illinois, shout out Quad Cities, it's probably going to be 350. That was my thinking. Okay, 350 in the Quad Cities. We're in Wrigleyville, right across the street from Wrigley Field. It's got to be that. Everything's higher, $400. I picked it up. The price tag was on the bottom. Flipped it over. Sticker price, $225. $225. I was shocked in a good way. Like, I was expecting almost double the sticker price. Not expecting $75 below most retailers' price on a hobby box of Bowman. So, if it was probably after the game as opposed to before the game, I probably would have bought one, because I would have had a few beers in me and going back to the hotel, doing a hotel rip. But it was before the game. It was raining. Oh, this was Sunday. So, and had the rooftop. So I wasn't going to carry around a $225 hobby box around all day long. So, but yeah, it was. So that's when you think about lids, having hobby boxes could be a good thing. Cheaper than the big box card retailers, Blowout, David Adams, Steel City. So I like that. Andrew, good morning. Terry grew up in Moline. On the bright side, I got the remodel done. Now the master bath is my wife's favorite room in the house. Barry says, question, when selling a card, what is the best? What's best, the name of the player, type of card, or the year? Which works best to catch someone's interest? That's something I often think about, and I don't know. Typically what I do, like my standard listing just says, let's pick a card. I've got you from the last break. This is he's not a favorite for the Heisman this year, but he's like might be top 20, top 10 players in the conversation. Anyway, I would list this, and this is just my standard listing, but I do think about this often. My listing would go 2022 Bowman U first. I would put first 1 ST Bowman U football number 85, Braylon Allen, and then probably like Wisconsin Badgers or Badgers card, something to that effect. But I do understand your question in regards to, okay, but what if like the player name in all capitals, or start it with Braylon Allen, first Bowman U football number? And I don't know. I wonder if there's science behind this. I wonder if there's analytics. I wonder if there's best practices. That's a great question. And now it has piqued my interest. Should I be doing it differently? Maybe I'll do a test run and just kind of compare and see. That is a great question, because it is something that every once in a while when I'm listing, it's like, I wonder if I should list the player name first, or put the player name in all capitals just to stand out. I don't know. I wonder what others, if other people, Jenny, I know she does a lot of listing. Anyone else that lists, Terry, I think does a lot of listing. Anyone else that's in the chat now or watching later, leave a comment. How do you list a card in the title? And does it work? Does one way work better than another? That is a great question. Jenny says, Jenny keeps card room to Herman. And there's Jenny's. I personally always use year, brand, player, team name. I don't often do card number, but have heard feedback that I should. I would definitely encourage card number in the title, because there are set build, and I'll find it, especially with when I list like bulk 70s cards. I list sold about 10 1971 tops baseball cards that I shipped out over the weekend or right before the weekend. I'm sure that was a set builder, and they were likely going by card number. Like, okay, I need card number this. They could also be searching by player, but I think set builders by and large go by card number as opposed to player. John asks, is obvious better than baseballism? That's a great question. So they're kind of different. Baseballism is, well, I guess they do have baseballism kind of has similar type to it. I favor obvious shirts because there's a lot bigger selection. The obvious shirts are much softer. I love a soft t-shirt. If you are buying an obvious shirt, though, go one size up than what you're normally getting. And that's something I've heard from multiple people. I'm glad that I've heard that because I would have bought an. So get one size larger if you're buying an obvious shirt than what you typically wear in a t-shirt. I like obvious shirts. Joe's a great guy. Joe Himes. He's the creator, founder of Obvious. But baseballism has some cool stuff. Like baseballism, and I wasn't familiar with baseballism until I walked into the store. And my friend Dave's a teacher, coach, and so he's kind of up on what the kids are doing. And he said baseballism is like trendy amongst his students, his high school students. There's some cool stuff. There's some Ken Griffey Jr. like, and I don't think they can like brand it as Ken Griffey Jr. obviously, but it's like you can tell it's Ken Griffey Jr. But it's like pixelated, kind of like my video today. It's pixelated, kind of like Nintendo. It's like basically 8-bit pixelation of Ken Griffey Jr. in the Mariners colors. Really cool. There's one of him blowing a bubble. There's another one where he's like running or something. It looks like he's a Nintendo game. There's the 643 equals 2. The old double play shirt. I see that a lot. But I like obvious because there's just obvious is more Cubs centric. They've got the Friday 120 shirts. They've got a lot of player themed shirts. I like the fabric is a soft t-shirt. Baseballism's kind of like just your standard cotton shirt. A little heavier. So if you're into that, if you're into the heavier as opposed to the soft, but I prefer obvious to baseballism. Let's see. Zach and Porter says, how many soccer cards did you sell in your store when you were gone? You may want to think about restocking if you sold some. I didn't sell as many as I wanted. John says, I live in Bo's mind. I like baseballism. We hit the store up at Busch Stadium. Dear Bo's bride, he wants new internet for Christmas, signed to everyone. David says, baseballism is great. My favorite, there it is, the 643 equals 2. They have a partner. Oh, they do have a partnership with Ken Griffey. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at? I missed the second part to Zach's comment. A ton of Field of Dreams and Major League stuff too. Yes, Major League was okay. So they do have a thing with Ken Griffey Jr. They are supposedly putting a baseballism store at the Rock Baseball Complex in Franklin. I'd absolutely hate the bananas stuff. If I'm at a baseball game, I want to watch and people around me to shut up. LOL. Dan says you can send me the Savannah Bananas. Remind me of the Globetrotters residual next week. Let's see. I guess it may be open on baseballism. There's the link. eBay's AI is getting super picky. If you don't list 1 million cards a day, it's like they shut down your store. Okay, really like 200 cards per day and you get sales. Any less than sales under 10. And that's kind of what I've noticed. It's like, boom, as soon as I list, I make some sales. And then it's like the next day, if I don't list anything, There's like no sale, like limited sales. Cooter says either John or Herman need to go live telethon to raise money to buy Bo a mesh router. Otherwise, we are going stuck with Pixel Bo until the new house. Cooter, then we'll have to fly you into Bo's to install it. I wonder if it is the Bowman U, because at the beginning, it was terrible, and then we had like the cabinets installed, and then the antennas got all messed up. Once I fixed the antennas, it was good again. And then when I built the Bowman U wall, it's been crappy again. So maybe there is something, maybe it is. I don't know. And what is rising because they're donating an 86-87 Fleer case to the original people during that whole deal during the National with the Johnson cards pack. Victor says, like, I might, Jenny, I might go elaborate more on what's going on. Man, there's so much on with like breakers and boxes, and it's disappointing, I guess. It's disappointing. So I may touch on that, go into more detail tomorrow. Victor says, I can't wait for the weekend. Huge trade coming through on Saturday. And Victor, I've got some stuff for Victor. And I've got some stuff for Zach and Porter. August 27th, Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Herman says, Jenny, I think I burned up the computer with the complete revamp I was working on. Let's see. Using all caps and titles to me is like people that put PSA 10 ? It's almost obnoxious in my opinion. Let's see. Michael Tracy, what is up? Hey, dude, nice vids. Thanks for the content. Hey, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate that. Oops, caps lock. Sorry, not screaming. I appreciate it. Thanks for hopping on. Also, a big thank you to oh my God, I'm blanking on the crap. I should. I got Zach actually texted me the link. I did not see it. I'm subscribed to the channel, but I was not on. Damn it, I was not on YouTube. That was awesome. I really appreciate that. So check that out. Sports Cards once again. Try to find the link to his channel and get that in there. Somebody's probably going to beat me to it. So as my computer's working, Herman says, hopefully not. Me and my son worked on cleaning it off last night, trying everything. Too bad Low Roller isn't here. I believe he or she would tell you how to. Probably Sports Cards once again. Let's see. I would get a little more in depth on what I sold, because I as I was looking through, like, or as I was shipping, I'm like, oh wow, I sold this card. Sports Cards once again channel. So there's the channel, the Sports Cards once again. Check them out. Let's see. Jenny says, Herman, did you back everything up on an external hard drive? I have everything up automatically. So here's some answers to listing. Ed lists player name, year, set, card number, team. I like it. Let's see. Terry says, I use brand, year, player, card number, team, and rookie if needed on Bowman's first. I put that in there also. And that's let's see, brand, year. Yeah, that's pretty much the exact way I list. Andrew says, I look at others like yourself to see how people title their cards on eBay. I appreciate that. Thank you. And now I'm wondering if I go with Ed. I list player name in all caps, year, set, card. I like that. I'm going to try that on my next go round, which hopefully I'll get caught up today and hammer out some listings this afternoon. Ed says the breaking and authentication segments need much more scrutiny. I agree. I agree. Completely agree. Let's see. Oh, Zach, I beat you by a second. Dalbach is up. I wanted to take a video, and I think that's what ate up all of my space, because it was like every at bat in extra innings was like a potential game winner. And I'm like, I'm gonna be a baseball traditionals baseball traditionalists um hater on this, because not only do I, when I go to a game, I enjoy the atmosphere and the people, baseball, but also love runner on second in extra innings. I love it. I love it. I was talking to my friend Scott, who uh, I've mentioned. He's got the 75 mini box, worked for the Cubs for a long time. He hates it, and I know most traditionalists do. I like it. I really do. I really do. And it it does add some strategy. You know, intentional walk to set up a double play. You know, a little more aggressive on the bases, or maybe less aggressive at times. But I love second runner on second in extra innings. So it was really exciting. What did it go? 11 innings, I think. I did put a bleacher perspective from the Wilson Contreras game winner. So Wilson Contreras, 2 straight games, I'm in the Wrigley bleachers, and Wilson Contreras walks it off for the Cubs. Actually, I don't think the first one was a walk-off, but hits the game winner. So I'm glad the Cubs didn't trade him. Actually, I didn't want the Cubs to trade him, but I also want them to re-sign him. Like, I don't want them to not trade him and not re-sign him, because then you get nothing for him. So that was a great game. After the game, we went to Nisei Lounge. Usually I'm a Murphy's post-game spot, but it's like, let's go to Nisei today. So went to Nisei. I had an old style. I'm like, hey, when in Rome, right? When in Rome. However, I do draw the line at Malort. When in Rome, Nisei is like a Malort. That drink Malort. And if you've never heard of Malort, I'm sure there's Malort videos on YouTube of people trying it for the first time. From everything I've watched and heard, it's the most disgusting drink you could ever put in your mouth. And so I have never had Malort, and I will never choose to have Malort. Somebody's going to have to like torture me and like force me to drink. I will never choose to drink Malort. So that's where I draw the line at when in Rome. So I had just one old style, and then we called it a day, headed back downtown, wanted some Lou Malnati's, and went down to Lou Malnati's. It was always we went down to Lou Malnati's because it was just a couple blocks from the hotel. Wait was like 40 minutes. And then, of course, it takes like 40 minutes to get your pizza, and it's like it was already kind of late. So I've heard a lot about Art of Pizza. Whenever there's what's the best Chicago pizza, like I always see a lot of replies of Art of Pizza, and I never had it. And there was an Art of Pizza like 3 or 4 doors down from Lou Malnati's. It's like by the slice, and you go in, you order, and boom, pizza on our table in 10 minutes or less. And it's deep dish. I think they have other. You don't have to have. I think they have pan and others, but I had the deep dish, Chicago style, and had a couple sliced sausage and a spinach and mushroom. Delicious, but I was also hungry and had some beers in my belly. That always helps the taste of pizza. The true test is when you're sober and just not like super hungry. So that's the true test of tasting food. But hey, it was great. It wasn't terrible, but I haven't had too many terrible slices of pizza in my life. Then we walked back, and there was a Dunkin' Donuts, and you know my Dunkin' affinity with Baskin Robbins, and the ice cream at Baskin Robbins looked really damn good. But I'm like, 2 slices of deep dish and ice cream, I will be up all night with acid reflux, indigestion. Not a good idea. With a base of beer, not a good idea. Not a good trifecta. Beer deep dish pizza and ice cream. So held off. But Sunday night, I hit the ice cream. We hit the Baskin Robbins on Sunday night. My sweet tooth prevailed, and it was okay. I had a little indigestion, but it wasn't terrible. Let's see. Where chat. Dollar Box is so jealous I didn't get to a Cubs game this year. I didn't get to one until a week and a half ago, and I've been to 3 now. In 8-day span. But Sunday's game was the last of the year because it's already the end of August. Probably won't go again in September, so I'll have to wait till spring training. Though, what I did find out, so we had the Club 400 on Sunday before the game. Oh, and I have to stories. Before the game, we met up with, we had gone into Baseballism and Lids and Clark Street Sports, whatever it is. Went into some of those stores. Well, one of my buddies, Daryl, from Club 400, texted me. He's like, "Hey, where you guys at?" We're like, "Oh, we're just walking from store to store." He's like, "Come on down to the Brickhouse. We're all down at Brickhouse." So Brickhouse is like basically kind of connected to that park outside of Wrigley Field, which is super awesome. That's where we hung out during my bachelor party. What has been 5 years ago. I wanted to go to Wrigleyville, but not to a Cubs game. I just wanted to go to Wrigleyville. So we did my bachelor party back in 2017. My friend Scott, who lives out in the suburbs, we rented a limo and took a limo from the suburbs and partied down to Wrigleyville. Went to Sluggers. And then from Sluggers, during the game, they played the Pirates that day. We hung out at Brickhouse, and then after the game, this was like 20s Bo. My routine, it's changed. Like as you get older, your routines change. So when I was in my 20s, in partying days, it was Sluggers pregame, Cubs game. Game was at the Cubby Bear. We went to Cubby Bear afterwards, and just not my style anymore. We literally my bachelor party, at Cubby Bear, they had a band, and there was basically there were 6 of us, and it was basically the 6 of us were just hanging out in the back, listening to the band, looking like old men. Just what's up? Everybody else is partying, dancing, and all that, and we're just boy, we're old. So the bachelor party, Brickhouse is us. So we went to Brickhouse, met up with my Club 400 group, part of them, and we're talking about spring training because we all kind of plan. We all go down separately, but we like to be there at the same time so we can tailgate together, go to games together, do all that stuff. So we were talking about, just kind of planning ahead for next year, for 2023. The World Baseball Classic is next year, 2023, and pool play is in Phoenix, March 11th through the 15th at Chase Field, home of the Diamondbacks. So we're going to plan going around so we can hit up, 1 or 2 of the World Baseball Classic games. And I think in the pool in Phoenix is the U.S., and I can't remember the other teams. I think Dominican Republic, maybe, in Canada, in one other country I can't remember, but I know the U.S. is in the Phoenix pool play. So I think we're going to plan our spring training around those dates, coinciding with pool play of the World Baseball Classic. And then we were kind of outside on the patio outside of Brickhouse, which is right next to the park outside of Wrigley. And I see a big tall guy that I recognize. It's former Cubs and White Sox pitcher Steve Trout. And I'm like, before I start, yelling out a name, I want, hey, can you confirm that's Steve Trout, right? And yeah, that's Steve Trout. Hey, Trout. And just wanted to wave and say hi, but he came and he was down, and He came all the way down to us, and he talked to us for about 20 minutes. He was sharing some stories from his days. My favorite story, he was talking about autographs, and during his playing days with Greg Luzinski. And he said that Greg didn't like signing autographs, and he didn't answer fan mail. But all of a sudden, one year he saw him like signing and sending fan mail back. And he says something. He's like, I thought you hated doing that. I didn't think you did that. And Luzinski said, well, it's a month before the All-Star game. So he's answering fan mail to drum up that All-Star vote. Get those fans to vote for Luzinski for the All-Star game. And I thought those are the types of stories, that I love, because, one of the modern day players, and, maybe as we will, some of the guys will share fun stories like that, but the game has changed so much. The priorities have changed so much, and it's generational. But that's what I love, sitting down with Ray Burris or Steve Trout. Bob Dernier is an amazing storyteller. And just listening to, the stories that, you don't hear every day. So Steve Trout shared some fun. Dan says, Bo wanted to share $99 a month. You can get unlimited coffee and pop from Panera. If you live by a Panera, it's awesome. Really? That does sound like a good deal. And I do live by a couple Paneras, not too far, maybe 2 miles max, 3 miles max. Jenny says, well, that Wilson Contreras card selling on eBay. Yeah, he continues to play really well. Let's see. Dollar Box says Malort is the worst. It tastes like burned, wet forest fire wood. So there you go. That's what Malort tastes like. I just see reaction videos, and it's like, no, why would you choose to do that? I don't understand why people would choose to do that. I guess it makes great reaction videos. But I'm to the age, when I was 25, I probably would have chose to do something like that. But you get older and wiser, and it's like, nah, don't want to do that. Zach and Porter says 108ing has Malort as a topic from time to time. Ed says, would you drink Malort for better Wi-Fi? Oh, well, now that you put something on the line, maybe I would. Yeah, I guess if there's cash in hand, hey, I'll give you $20, $50 if you take a shot of Malort. Maybe I would. There's a Lou Mal's in Oak Creek, takeout only though, which I found strange. Where was I at that I saw? I think Rockford has one. After the Rockford Card Show, a couple weeks ago, I was driving down and I'm like, whoa, there's a Lou Malnati's in Rockford. And it piqued my interest. Mark Hoyle, what is up? Jenny says, FYI, Bo, if you're trying to ship ESC this morning, you may get can't generate label when you hit purchase. It actually is generating, and you have to go into the reprint label because otherwise you are double buying the labels for one order. Couple things. This was happening to me yesterday. I thought it was my computer at first, but then it was doing the same thing that it was doing a few weeks ago when people were having issues. And I just hit refresh, and it works. Now, if you double buy the labels, you only get charged when the label is, I think, delivered. So it's kind of like if you print, I accidentally printed off a FedEx label. It was like $8, and I'm like, ah, damn it. But FedEx and I think UPS labels you don't get charged until delivery, and that's with standard envelope also. So that's why, on Wednesdays your account goes down because it's taking out all of those delivered ESE. So even if you purchase it twice, you'll only get charged once upon delivery. Zach says, when I saw you post that pizza picture, I honestly thought, good thing Bo isn't vlogging. He will have heartburn. I've watched too many shows. Yeah. Terry says, I haven't seen a Baskin Robbins in years. Very frustrating, but has happened with every order this morning I am shipping. I was having that it wasn't every order yesterday, last night, but it was like every other or every third order. I was either having to refresh or I'd get that, "Oh, sorry, we can't do that." Terry says, "I got around the error by using the bulk print." That's a fix that I haven't, because bulk print. Now, who sets up at Madison and in Rockford, we were talking in Rockford a couple weeks ago. He's like, "I really think it would work for you. Maybe one day I'll try it." Terry says, "I didn't know about the Panera deal. I work right across the street from one." Hey, perfect. I don't know how often I would use it. I would get my $10 a month worth. Because typically when I run to Dunkin' Donuts, it's just off like my route to wherever I'm going, which is typically uh Panera would be either Panera spot would be well out of my way. While it's just a couple miles, it's a couple miles out of the way. So I probably just wouldn't. It sounds like, oh, $10 a month, I'll use that. And then all of a sudden it's the end of the month and I've got one coffee. But that does sound like an awesome deal. If there was a Panera like along one of my routes when I'm out and about getting coffee, I would think that would be a good deal. So I'm over an hour. I think I've shared most of the stories. I should have wrote notes, but I think I've touched on most everything. I did also want to mention Sunday was my first rooftop experience at Wrigley, and it was not what I was expecting. It was better than I expected. So I thought like sitting on a rooftop was basically you go up and you sit on the rooftop and you're in a bleacher seat the whole time. And then maybe there's a bar and you get food like right behind a small area. No, it's like multiple levels. So how many you walk up and there's a lot of stairs. I think there's elevators. I'm sure there's elevators. They've got to be ADA compliant. But you walk up the stairs and I think so basically the top 4 levels. So let's just call them level 1, 2, 3, and 4. So level 1, which is actually on probably like the 3rd floor. Level 1, you walk up the stairs and they're outside stairs. You walk up and then there's like a door and it's like an indoor bar and it's like a fancy bar, like an indoor, like a very vintage old school style bar, like almost like a speakeasy type setting. Really nice. TV, games on the TV, very nice bar. And then there's like a balcony. You can fit, I don't know, 10 people out of the balcony. And it's got, tabletop so you can put your food down or your beer down and look out over Waveland Avenue. The bleacher gate, or actually, I don't think that's the bleacher gate's down on Sheffield, but the left field gate. And then you go up a level. So say the second level. Let me get this straight. So second level is the bottom of the bleachers seating. So you walk up and then you could walk up to the bleachers. And on this level, there's a bar, like an outdoor bar area where it's just like you go up, get your beer. And then there was the Salsa King of Chicago was there. Oh, this is another story I want to tell. And there was salsa out, chips and salsa. So Martin is his name. He's the owner of Salsa King of Chicago. And so he was standing there. And so I pointed at the sign and I go, "I have to ask a question." And he goes, "The answer is yes." He goes, "You don't even have to ask. The answer is yes." And I go, "So you know what my question's going to be?" And he says, "Yep." So Salsa King of Chicago is in fact confirmed a play on the scene from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago. He goes, "I want to be Martin Garcia, the Salsa King of Chicago." I'm like, that's brilliant. He's a great marketer. Salsa King of Chicago now in all the Jewel stores. The Jewels, I think there's like 188 Jewel stores. So he told me the background of Salsa King of Chicago and great story. If there's a Jewel around, try it out. Good stuff. So that's the second level. and then you go up to the third level, and this is like the food level, and they have burgers, chicken on one end, and then in kind of in the middle, you have buona beef. Um, so you get Italian beef, Italian sausage, hot dogs, and then that's also the top level of the bleachers, and then you can walk down uh, to sit in your seat. Then you go up one more level, like the roof of the rooftop. That's the top level, and it's got a big outdoor bar. Think of like uh, is it a cabana? Is that what I'm thinking of? But it's a big outdoor bar, and then it's like basically just seating around the perimeter with tables around the perimeter. Um, and I hung out there quite a bit. So John asks, how much were the beers? So the beers are included. So it's all inclusive. So our tickets, and I don't know how much rooftop tickets are for like a normal game. This was a fundraiser for Club 400. Our tickets were $220, and that was all inclusive, all you can eat food, all you can drink beers and pop. Plus we had, Patrick Wisdom came. We got pictures with Patrick Wisdom. So there were some other little tidbits and entertainment. The Bleacher Bum Band played, but it was $220 for sitting up and watching the game. And really, when you think about it, it's basically like sitting in the bleachers. You're just a little far back. And I paid $100 for my bleacher ticket. So can you drink $120 in beers and eat food? Salsa and chips are about $5 out in the wild. But you get, so I had some chips and salsa, but I also had a burger, and I also had a hot dog. They were out of Italian sausage, so I had a hot dog, and I had a good amount of beer too. But it was also a fundraiser. I'm sure the bleach or the rooftop tickets are less than $220, but this was a for charity, so I'm sure it was a little more than what it normally costs. Actually, it's Cubs and Cardinals, so since that's a premium, it's probably going to be a little more. Let's go to StubHub and see, because you can buy these rooftop tickets on StubHub, and this was also like a private party. Let's see. Let's go to Explore Chicago Cubs, because now I am curious on how much a roof typically. Let's see, Chicago Cubs. We want rooftop, because usually when I search, so today's game 120. We want just one. Oh, so that's it, Wrigley. Okay, so all right. You can buy them somewhere. I'm I don't want to just scroll on my phone. We're already an hour and 10 minutes. Let's see. I'd pay $220 to watch a game with no one near me. I need an isolation chamber. And I'm the opposite. I love like people watching and all that. So that's Herman says, with beer at $11 each at the stadium, I'm sure I could get my money's worth, right? Yeah. It's I think the cheapest beer at Wrigley was $10.50 for a Bud Light. So $10.50, adds up. And then there's like, how much is your tip going to be? And I don't think there's a zero option. It's like 15%. And usually if it's, somewhere I'm going, I try to tip $1 or, I'm already paying $10.50. It's like, I don't want to tip too much. I'm going to be out of money fast. I was pleasantly surprised with how cool the rooftop was. Oh, and one more story. So my friend Scott worked for the Cubs for 30 years. He had his office taken over by Tom Ricketts, and he's like, what can I say to that? So Tom's personal assistant was there. She was sitting at the bar, and so Scott was Scott introduced me. This is Lorraine, Tom Ricketts' personal assistant for like 20 years, and not just for the Cubs, but for like all of his other endeavors. So that was cool to meet her. So yeah, so it was a great weekend. It was a lot of fun in 48 hours, and it's nice to be back to a routine and back in my basement with my Pixel Wi-Fi. Maybe work on that. So now I've got to catch up on shipping, maybe do some listing this afternoon, and prepare for the Madison Card Show. It's this Saturday, August 27th, 9 to 3 at the Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., 125 tables. Will be a great time. So Paige and Deanie Bean, good morning to you. So Jenny alluded to it earlier, the 86-87 Fleer and whatnot, and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on with breaking and authenticating. So maybe I'll touch on that tomorrow. Hobby Hotline is tonight. Almost forgot because today's Tuesday. It feels like a Monday for me. Hobby Hotline is tonight, 8 p.m. Central. I think Ryan Nolan is on. Rich Klein is on. And I'm forgetting the third person. But Hobby Hotline tonight, 8 p.m. Central. Looking forward to hearing that. I'm sure some of those topics may be discussed, and maybe I can bounce some of my thoughts tomorrow morning because there has been a lot going on with that. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. Appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you are new, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the content and hope to have you back. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll chat again tomorrow morning.